We'll move now to Pakistan to hear about the Aagahi program of the Citizens Foundation that has taken a different approach, but still equally powerful. We will hear from Ms. Amna Khalid, Executive Advisor of the Citizens Foundation from Pakistan, for her presentation. Thanks a lot. Over to you.
Yes, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm really excited to be here. So Her Literacy, Her Power, Bridging the Gender Gap in Literacy, sharing with you what the Citizens Foundation has been doing. So Pakistan ranks 5th in the world in terms of population size with over 250 million people. And Pakistan's literacy rate is only 60%, which means that 4 out of every 10 people in this large population cannot read or write. Gender-wise, the literacy is as follows. Males are at 67%, females at 52%, which means that nearly half the women cannot read, and there's an overall 15% literacy gender gap between males and females. Now, Pakistan also has the second highest number of out-of-school children in the world, and this is not unrelated to low female literacy rate, and it indicates how important it is for a country like Pakistan with a large and growing population to have literate females. Literate women are more likely to send their children, especially daughters, to school, to be more actively engaged with the learning process and provide support for community mobilization. So TCF, as we call the Citizens Foundation, was established in 1996, and it currently operates over 2,000 primary and secondary formal school units for over 300,000 less privileged children across the country. The Economist has said that we're perhaps the largest network of independently run schools in the world. And our vision is to remove barriers of class and privilege and make citizens of Pakistan agents of positive change. Our mission is to enable moral, spiritual, and intellectual enlightenment through the power of quality education. So for the past 20 years, TCF has been running a non-formal functional literacy program for girls and women in the communities around its schools. And this program is called Aagahi, which means awareness. The curriculum is designed to give girls and women relevant literacy skills, say reading food and medicine labels, road signs, signboards, increasing awareness about health, family, and community issues, how to resolve conflicts harmoniously, And there are the curriculum design is very important, both curriculum design and then the operational design. These are two very important factors which contribute to the success of a program. So there are 4 books that are taught over a 3 to 4 month period. The teaching is phonetics based, and it is designed such that the most frequently used letters are taught first, so that learners start recognizing the characters and then they start using them for reading simple words, so they get engaged in the whole process. This is a summary of the inputs and outcomes for Aagahi. So 2 hours a day for 90 days. There are 4 books. There's 1 dedicated teacher and a committed master trainer. And at the end of this, a learner can learn, he learns how to read an Urdu newspaper, write simple letters, can read food and medicine labels. They get engaged in their children's education, and they can do basic math for household expenses, and they learn to write their name, and they become more aware about basic health and hygiene in their home and in their community spaces. This is a quick overview of the operational design. So each cycle, Aagahi is run in 2 cycles in the year, in January and then again in August. So each cycle is initiated with a registration process where the TCF principal assesses the demand, availability of qualified teachers, and adequate space in the community. She mobilizes the learners, the teachers and the learners, and they jointly, she mobilizes the teachers, and then they jointly, the principal and the teachers, they jointly mobilize the learners. Then the area team selects the master trainers, and then training of the master trainers as well as the teachers is done. Then the training materials are dispatched through the TCF supply chain network. The Aagahi teacher conducts the classes, and she sends a daily attendance reporting into our online platform. And that periodically there is a monitor who goes and checks on the centers and fills out a survey form, and even that information gets digitized and centrally online. And then the program team does its periodic visits and fills out its own survey forms. And exams are conducted, the data is collected, and then the phase closure activities start taking place. So to date, classes have been held in over 74 cities across the country, and cumulatively over 250,000 Aagahi learners have learned to read and write through this program. One of the critical things to realize is that TCF's formal schooling network has provided the platform and the infrastructure to scale. So this is a very interesting thing, that there is a bone, and then there is a muscle attached to the bone, and that's how the entire organism is able to move and progress. The formal structure as well as a non-formal sort of program. And through this, we are able to do community mobilization, recruitment of teachers, training and monitoring, and we're able to expand our outreach through TCF's own network expansion. And this has been the program's growth trajectory. We've seen that over 30% growth in the number of literacy centers just last year. Our outreach is now over 65,000 learners a year. And we started off this program about 20 years ago with just 50 learners a year. So in 2020, just before COVID hit, we had done an assessment study on Aagahi's effectiveness by a third party called SAHI, which is a Society for the Advancement of Education. This study was done for both graduated learners and new learners. They were interviewed across 11 districts. And from this study, we got a better understanding of the power of literacy in our poor communities. Community mobilization. This has been a key ingredient for Aagahi. Now, there's a cycle of women supporting women. Initially, this is driven by the efforts of the TCF principals and the teachers on the ground. And by the way, all of our faculty are female at the school. And the mobilization is also done by the Aagahi graduates, who then mobilize other women to also join the literacy classes. So Sahi's observations are that by providing access to literacy opportunities to female members, the program has significantly contributed to improved communication at the community level. As more learners, after attending the program, they feel empowered to support their children's and their girls' rights, and also consider literacy education as essential for community uplift. So they're actually going and help. There's an entire circle of mobilization for education happening, both at the informal level and at also the formal level. Now I've left, for every slide, and now I have kept a little links at the bottom in case later on if people would like to see videos, they are most welcome to do that. Another benefit that has happened through this program is increased economic and financial awareness through household budgeting, through better market access by reading messages on mobile phones, as well as being able to read road signs and bus destinations. The third power that literacy brings is awareness with regards to health and hygiene. The curriculum includes how to maintain personal hygiene, food preservation, cleanliness in the home and the community, and common diseases. And health is such an important topic because it affects the ability to earn livelihood and can really stop a family from moving out of poverty. So this has been a big contribution in terms of functional or value added by literacy. The fourth power that literacy brings is promoting social harmony in society. And the curriculum includes content about how to speak nicely to one another and how to resolve issues amicably between people. So there's a positive messaging that takes place through the content that the learners are learning. The fifth power of a literate woman is her commitment to putting her children into school. And the Sahi study indicated that with the non-formal literacy program, more parents in the community are mobilized to send their children to school. And finally, we see that with the mobilization by the TCF faculty of the community women to become literate, and with more literate women putting their children into school, the gender gap in literacy is reducing. So there was an extensive survey of over 100,000 families, TCF families, that was done that shows that the gender gap in literacy between the mother and the father is 70%, they're literate, and the mothers are 55%. That's 15% gap. But when we looked at the brothers and the sisters, the gap between the brothers and the sisters was less. So that is a very positive sign that we're seeing. And when we look at across the country as well, we also saw a similar trend across Pakistan, wherein the gap, the gender gap in literacy at the younger ages is less. So the higher the older the age, there's a gap is more. But as the younger generation is coming up, there has been much improvement in the literacy rates. So what are some implementation challenges that we faced? Mainly, it has been ensuring that we maintain quality at scale as we expand the program. Another thing that we've encountered is that with the growth, there have been a lot of more younger out of school children who are coming into the program, and that's really changing our beneficiary profile. These are children who are now too old to be mainstreamed, and they're looking at non-formal program for learning opportunities. So that's both a challenge as well as an opportunity for TCF to look at. Some of the key lessons that we've learned over the years. The first and foremost is that community trust is important for mobilization. And the TCF Formal School Network, with its support of its on-ground principals and teachers, have really helped in building the trust with the community. The second is that design is important. Both of the curriculum of what is taught in that content and how that content is delivered, as well as how the program is implemented on the ground. It has to be simple. It has to be balanced between what is structured. For example, if there's a daily lesson plan, but yet it has to be flexible enough to meet the requirements of a non-formal program. For example, class timings are flexible and it's agreed upon between the learners and the students and the teachers. The focus has to be on the alignment with values, and this is very important in order to maintain the integrity of the program. And last but not least is that there has to be continuous monitoring on the ground, both through a physical presence surveillance, but also looking at data that comes in and to looking at ways to improve the effectiveness of the delivery. It takes actually $10. That's the beauty of this, $10 per learner to go from being illiterate to literate over a 3 to 4 month period. That's all it costs. And this is an all in all, inclusive of overheads, inclusive of salaries, inclusive of everything. And that takes me to the end of my presentation. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Sophia, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Amna. Actually, we're impressed by the way you linked the keywords of the title of the webinar across your presentation. And actually, you connected a lot with a lot of things that are very important and are not always there. For example, the key characteristics of a strong curriculum, and that has to also be in a line with values. And then here you highlighted like that power of literacy is not only at the cognitive level, but it has to be aligned with the values of the community. And then we see the attitude of the learners within the community. You also highlighted the power of the members of the community in this effort. What is also very interesting is that you highlighted the importance of literacy to be integrated with health, hygiene, as long as with financial literacy, and the long term of this initiative that can lead to an impressive scale and impact. I mean, we're impressed to see how the program grew over the years, and the number of the learners that you reached out, and also the learning centers.